It's so good to be in Dallas, Texas. Thank y'all for having me. We are building a movement to take back our state and take back our country. All of you are part of this movement. You're on the front lines. All of you here in DFW, you shocked the nation when you flipped a state Senate seat in Tarrant County, Texas. And in November, we will shock the world by flipping a U.S. Senate seat right here in Texas. We launched this grassroots campaign for the U.S. Senate 6 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then, tens of thousands of Texans have shown up to rally with us in every corner of this state, from Beaumont to El Paso, from Amarillo to Brownsville, and everywhere in between. And I can't tell you the number of people who come up to me after these events and whisper, "I'm not a Democrat," like they're in the witness protection program. We have recruited more than 35,000 volunteers who are doing the organizing work in communities across this state. And we have shattered grassroots fundraising records, all without taking a dime from corporate PACs. This is a people-powered movement to take on this broken, corrupt political system. This is truly a campaign of, by, and for the people. All of you are now part of this campaign. We're not just trying to win an election. We are trying to fundamentally change the politics in this state and in this country. My granddad was a Baptist preacher in South Texas, and he told me when I was real little that we're supposed to follow the 2 commandments that Jesus gave us: love God and love neighbor. My faith teaches me to love my neighbor as myself, not just my neighbor who looks like me, not just my neighbor who prays like me, not just my neighbor who votes like me. I am called to love all of my neighbors the way I love myself. That second commandment is what motivated me to go into public service. First, as a public school teacher on the west side of San Antonio, and now as a public official in the Texas House of Representatives. I launched my very first campaign for the State House 8 years ago, back home in Williamson County, a county that was so red it hadn't voted for a Democrat for president since Jimmy Carter. I was told that the race was unwinnable. I was told flipping a Trump district was impossible. I was told I was too young. I was told I didn't have the money or the political connections to win. But my neighbors and I, we ran an aggressive, authentic, unorthodox campaign that brought people together. And on election night, we flipped that district with 51% of the vote. Now, I'm in my 4th term in the Texas House. I have brought Democrats and Republicans together to take on corporate special interests, to lower the cost of housing, lower the cost of childcare, lower the cost of prescription drugs, including insulin. I am trying to love my neighbor through public policy. I'm trying to make my neighbor's life a little easier and a little better. But that kind of love in our politics has been hard to find. There is something broken in America. Our economy is broken. Our political system is broken. Even our relationships with each other feel broken. And that's because the most powerful people in the world want it that way. The billionaires who own the social media algorithms, who own the cable news networks, who own the politicians fighting on our screens, they want us at each other's throats. They want us focused on how we're different instead of on how we're the same. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, by culture. So we don't notice that they are picking our pockets, that they are robbing us blind. They're closing our public schools. They're gutting our health care. They're raising taxes on all of us while they cut taxes for themselves. It is the oldest strategy in the world: divide and conquer. The real fight in this country is not left versus right, it's top versus bottom. I don't know about y'all, but I am tired of being pitted against my neighbor. I'm tired of being told to hate my neighbor. It's been more than 10 years of this kind of politics. Politics as blood sport. Politics as trolling and owning. Politics as total war. It tears families apart. It ends friendships, and it leaves us all feeling terrible all the time. There is a deep hunger in this state and in this country for a different kind of politics. We're not going to defeat the politics of division with more division. We can't win their game. We have to change the game. This campaign, this movement is rooted in a fierce love for our state, for our country, and most importantly, for all of our neighbors. If you hate politics and you've never voted before, you have a home in this movement. If you have voted for Democrats, but you're tired of Democratic politicians always folding, you have a place in this movement. And if you voted for Donald Trump, but you are fed up with the extremism and the corruption in our government, you also have a place in this movement. We're done being divided. We're done being pitted against each other. We're done being played. This is not a politics of division. This is a politics of love, a love that can heal what's broken in America. This new politics is being born right here in the Lone Star State. The number of young people who showed up in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. The number of first-time voters who showed up in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. And the number of independents and Republicans who voted in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. I did not generate this historic turnout on my own. I did it with my friend and your champion, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. It was a true honor to run this race with her. I am so grateful for her voice, for her example, and for her leadership. To the Congresswoman's supporters, I know I wasn't your first choice, but I hope to earn your trust and earn your support. My responsibility as your Democratic nominee is to make sure that you feel welcomed in, represented by, and proud of this campaign. It doesn't matter what happens in this Republican runoff. We already know who we're running against: the billionaire mega donors and their corrupt political system. Not any one politician, not any one political party. We are running against this broken system and the powerful people who broke it. They're scared of this movement that we're building in Texas. They're going to throw everything they have at us. They're going to call me a radical leftist. They're going to call me a fake Christian. They're going to call our movement un-American and un-Texan. They'll call us a threat. The only truth is, we are a threat to their corruption. And there is no better proof of that corrupt system than what they did to this community on Election Day. That That voter suppression that we saw in my home of Williamson County and in Dallas County is proof that they will do whatever it takes to hold on to power. They are afraid of what we can do together. They wouldn't be trying so hard to stop y'all from voting if your vote didn't matter. They turned away Texans from their polling places. They prevented Texans from exercising their God-given rights at the ballot box. This voter suppression is unacceptable. Now they're trying to pass the SAVE Act to save their corrupt political system. We can't tolerate this. We can't put up with this. This is a death rattle of a dying politics, and it underscores the need for us to win political power in November. Neither John Cornyn nor Ken Paxton deserve the honor of representing this great state in our nation's capital. Both of them are far more interested in serving their billionaire mega donors than serving the people of Texas. Both of them have sold us out time and time again. Ken Paxton's crimes are well known. I was part of the bipartisan majority in the Texas House of Representatives that voted to impeach our corrupt Attorney General. But I think that John Cornyn is even more corrupt than Ken Paxton, because John Cornyn was the deciding vote on that big, ugly bill. That big, ugly bill that's going to kick millions of Texans off their health care. That big, ugly bill that's going to take food out of the mouths of hungry Texas children, all to give yet another tax break to his billionaire donors. We oftentimes think corruption is something that's illegal, but corruption is really just the betrayal of the public's trust. It is the abuse of a public office. And by casting that deciding vote on that big, ugly bill, John Cornyn committed an act of corruption of the highest order, and he has forfeited his right to represent all of us in the United States Senate. Can I tell y'all something that bothers me? Both Cornyn and Paxton like to say that they stand for freedom, family, and faith. But you can't stand for freedom and control what we say, what we watch, what we read, or what we do with our own bodies. You can't stand for family and vote against paid family leave, affordable child care, and our neighborhood public schools. And Dr. Haynes, you can't stand for faith and sell out the sick, the poor, and the vulnerable, all to give more tax cuts to the rich. John Cornyn and Ken Paxton don't stand for freedom, family, and faith. They stand for control, cruelty, and corruption. And it's why we have to defeat them in November. Many of you know that in addition to my public service, I'm a student in seminary, studying to become a minister like my granddad. And I know that things are dark right now, so I thought I would leave you with a little pastoral care. Like many of you, I am tempted by hopelessness. I'm tempted by despair. And when I'm feeling this way, there's a verse of Scripture that I return to. And I hope it can be a gift to you, whether you're religious or not. It's in the Gospel of Luke, when Jesus says something really strange. He says, "Blessed are you who weep." And that's strange, because how can someone who's weeping be considered blessed? In this country, we tend to avoid grief. But I think we forget that grief can be fertile soil. Sometimes we see the world most clearly through our tears. If your heart is breaking as you watch what happens to our beloved country, it means you still have a heart. I want you to trust that. I want you to protect that, because that is what's going to get us out of all this. Resistance starts right here, by refusing to mirror the hate and the violence and the inhumanity that surrounds all of us. There has never been a more important time to be a human being. I'm tempted by hopelessness. I'm tempted by despair. But then I show up in Dallas, Texas, and I see a room full of neighbors trying to figure out how they're going to save this state and save this country. And all of a sudden, I feel a little bit of hope again. And a little bit of hope is a dangerous thing. The fact that all of you are here today means you haven't given in to hopelessness. And that means the bullies haven't won yet. Action is the antidote to despair. You can't wring your hands when you're rolling up your sleeves. We have a lot of work to do, Dallas, Texas, but I am confident, I feel it in my bones, that we are going to win this election. We're going to take back this state, and we're going to take back this country. God bless y'all. Thank you for being here. Let's go win this thing. Thank you.